You guys are watching NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. It's time for some NFL head coach predictions. We had to make some changes from when we did this video last week. The open jobs have not changed. It's still Arizona, Carolina, Denver, Houston, and Indianapolis. But the potential candidates, the interviews, those are beginning to be kind of finalized. Some guys who I thought could get jobs have withdrawn from spots. So a lot of uncertainty. We'll do the list again, see if we can get some picks right. But first, of the 5 open jobs, which one gets filled first? DEN for the Denver Broncos, CAR for the Carolina Panthers, HOU for the Houston Texans, IND for Indy, and ARI for the Cardinals. Predict that for me in the comments section. Now, originally on our first video of this is the new one, the updated one, I had Ben Johnson getting a job and Jim Harbaugh to Denver. Well, Harbaugh's back at Denver. Gerard Mayo, who I didn't think was going to get a job anyway, has withdrawn and will work on a long-term deal with the Patriots, so that's interesting there. And Ben Johnson, the hot young OC candidate, he's also out of the running, it would appear. So let's go to Denver, where originally I had Jim Harbaugh, because this organization, I think pretty clearly, is trying to make a big-time jump for a home run candidate, a big name, a big addition to this this organization, and really see if they can land the home run candidate. Now, there's one name left on that standpoint this time around. So let's look at the Broncos interviews at this point. At least I'll make note. For all this list you're going to see here, it's not just the officially done interviews. It's people who were requested. They've completed the interview. All that in between is on this list. And so far, as of filming, we have 8 names on this list. We have Sean Payton, Dan Quinn, Ejiro Evero, the Broncos interim head coach, David Shaw, which was a very interesting decision to interview him. I found that curious. D'Amico Ryans, Raheem Morris, Jim Harbaugh, cross them off the list, and Jim Caldwell. Now, they've taken care of the minimum requirement minority hires. Looks like Denver's aiming high. So for the prediction, let's go Sean Payton. This would probably cost Denver their first-round pick. I don't think it is a lock this ends up happening, but I do think Denver's going to aim and try to get this job going. If they don't end up getting him, by the way, I think the most likely outcome is Dan Quinn. So I'm going to gamble on Sean Payton. It's not a lock he takes it, but that's my guess for now. What do you guys think? Will Sean Payton choose to take, I think it is his choice, by the way, a head coaching job this cycle? Y for yes, N for no. It's the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Go to Carolina now, as they fired Matt Rule midseason. Interim head coach Steve Wilkes almost made that playoffs, or the playoffs in the not very good NFC South this year. Carolina taking a bit of a wide coaching search early on. The common theme, by the way, with D'Amico Ryans, Gerard Mayo not really showing all that much actual interest in the gig. Steve Wilkes is a defensive interim. OC. Former head coach that's OC-minded. Offensive-minded. It's all offense in Carolina. That appears to be their path. Now, GM Scott Fitterer did not get fired alongside Matt Rule. Carolina had been linked pretty heavily to Ben Johnson, but he never actually interviewed with them. There was a report saying Ben Johnson was the favorite before he interviewed, which did not make any sense to me. I was not sold on that one. I'm going to stick with my initial prediction. That is Shane Steichen, the current Eagles offensive coordinator. There was a lot of early buzz pre-interview process that Shane Steichen was a top candidate for this particular job, that the Panthers liked what they saw out of the Eagles offense this year. So no reason to change. I'm going to stick with Shane Steichen as my prediction for the Panthers' next head coach. NFL's making some hires, and as a small business owner or hiring manager, you guys watching know that success in 2023 all depends on the team members you surround yourself with. Not just the head coach, it's your it's your OC, your DC. You're the owner. Got to hire a good head coach too, right? That's why, outside of NFL teams, you should check out LinkedIn Jobs. With LinkedIn Jobs, you can hire qualified candidates more efficiently by matching open roles with people who have the skills, values, and experiences to help you achieve your goals. Maybe that's hiring a new producer. We did that. Producer Rolly came in. Fantastic fit. Big ups to LinkedIn Jobs, helping us find the right person for it. LinkedIn Jobs helps you quickly attract qualified candidates to your open jobs with targeting tools. They go beyond resumes data by using insights from your job post, company, and the 875 million member profiles to put your post in front of the most qualified candidates. Identify the most qualified candidates, on LinkedIn Jobs and connect with them fast and for free. They make it easy to screen and rate applicants based on job qualifications, all on one platform. Setting all new goals in 2023, right? Making sure that your new year begins the way it needs to. You got to make sure you have the right team member to help you do that. And small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires against leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/NFL Daily. That's linkedin.com/NFL Daily. Terms and conditions apply. Links in the comments and the description. To the Texans we go. They're in a very interesting spot. They fired Lovie Smith after one season, after they had fired David Culley after one season. 4 coaches, including interim, since 2020. The number 2 overall pick. I don't think, honestly, that the roster quality is where it would normally be for a young rebuilding team. There's still too many veterans on there. I think it's a better GM job, which is not open, than a head coaching gig. And if somebody takes this job, they better have some assurances of, hey, it's not going to be one and done. We'll see. The interviews known so far, Sean Payton, I'd be pretty shocked. Ejiro Evero, Shane Steichen, who, of course, we already have a prediction on, so not him. Thomas Brown has been the fun Rams interview candidate, assistant head coach, or associate head coach and tight ends coach. Jonathan Gannon, D'Amico Ryans, Mike Kafka. Again, you can cross off Ben Johnson. D'Amico Ryans would be great. I'm not sure he wants this job. He can be a bit picky. The early name linked heavily is Jonathan Gannon, who interviewed twice last year, was a finalist for this gig. I believe that the GM, Nick Caserio, is high on Gannon. He's in charge here after all. Eagles DC since 2021. And there is reports that Ryan isn't, there are reports, bad grammar, Tom, that Ryans isn't interested in this job. I'd love D'Amico. I think Gannon is the next man up if they cannot land him. Now, we're going to keep you guys covered on all the coaching news and rumors. We'll do some coaching grades when it's all said and done. As teams hire head coaches, we'll keep you guys covered. Make sure you are subscribed. Free videos multiple times per day right here on Chat Sports. The Colts are next up here. A lot of interesting situations here. Frank Reich got canned midseason. The potential meddling from owner Jim Irsay, I think, is a real concern. Is this going to be an Irsay hire? If so, it might just be Jeff Saturday somehow. Is it going to be a hiring of Chris Ballard's choosing? The Colts already are up to 12 interview requests, and I'm not sure they're done yet, which is wild to me. Jeff Saturday, the interim head coach, is on the list, which he's not good. Stop capping for him. He's not good. Eric Bieniemy, Bubba Ventrone, the special teams coordinator, is going to get an interview. Raheem Morris, Ejiro Evero, Ben Johnson, who I thought was a great candidate, off the list now. Shane Steichen, the Eagles OC. Aaron Glenn, the Lions DC, getting an interview. Dan Quinn in the running. D'Amico Ryans, both Giants coordinators. Wink Martindale and Mike Kafka. No Leslie Frazier, which was my initial guess, but he's had no interview requests, so maybe he's just not going to job this cycle. I don't know where Indy goes. I will be honest here. This is the biggest guess I have. It's a pure shot in the dark. It's so early and such a wide net. I'm going to go Raheem Morris. There have been some early reports that Morris's first interview went well, so I'm going to kind of just hope that that is a sign of what's to come here. Morris was not great as the Bucs head coach. Better as the Falcons' interim head coach when Dan Quinn got fired, who, of course, himself is now a top candidate once again. It's not often defensive coordinators who get fired get a second shot. It's typically the offensive guys get that extra buzz there. So we'll see about Raheem Morris, but I think he's the Rams players love him. I think that could go a long way. A lot of candidates out there. Of the available ones, and we'll include Sean Payton, which might be a very popular answer. Who is the best head coaching candidate out there? Let me know in the comments section. If you could hire any available coach, who would it be? To the Cardinals. Again, jobs are not very good this year. They fire Cliff Kingsbury 1 year into a new contract extension. They have hired Monty Ossenfort as the new general manager, which he is going to have a lot of influence on this search, which is important to remember. Arizona also appears primed for at least a little mini rebuild. Call it a retool, a reload, whatever you want it to be there, to kind of get the books in order a little bit. 6 known interviews, requests, etc. at this point. Brian Flores, Sean Payton, seems unlikely. Vance Joseph, D'Amico Ryans, at minimum, get some insight into your organization for a successful one in San Francisco. Frank Reich and Ejiro Evero, who's been the popular defensive coordinator candidate this time around. My prediction, though, Brian Flores. Mike Florio says Flores might be the favorite for the Cardinals head coaching gig, and he's not the only one reporting that, by the way. The new GM, Monty Ossenfort, worked with Flores when they were back in New England, and I think Arizona could probably use some tough love in that organization, some stability, some structure, I don't want to be mean to Kyler here, but I think Kyler could use some being told no and not yelling at his coach mid-game. That's not a great look. I think Flores would be a good fit for the Cardinals organization at this point. I don't love any of the 5 jobs open. Which of the 5 do you think is the best one, however? Let me know in the comments section. Best head coaching job open right now. I will make note, in my predictions, I did not have Dan Quinn, D'Amico Ryans, or Frank Reich as hired. And I think for a lot of those guys, maybe not so much Frank Reich, it comes down to, are they going to take a job they don't love? Maybe Dan Quinn does get the Denver job. Maybe Ryans wants to go to a place like Houston after all. These guys can be a bit picky. They don't have to run to any job because, especially for guys like Dan Quinn and Frank Reich, you don't get a third shot. That's not really how most NFL teams work. There are some exceptions, but you don't give them any third chances. So be patient. Make sure you get the job you actually want.